Okay, it's finally here. Let's take a look at it. This fucking thing. Let's see what it is. So much cardboard. Okay, we got it out of the box. And it's still in the box. Alright, well, there you go. Here it is. Succubus Queen Lisbeth tanned version. Wait a minute, haven't we seen this figure before? Or at least this box. Yes, but it says tanned version. You see, different. This is the new one. The one that I've been telling people to get. If anyone saw the unboxing for the original one, well, yeah, there you go. Hopefully a review of the original one will be up by the time this video comes out, but most likely not. I don't know how quickly I'm doing this. And I don't know if I'm doing this as an unboxing and then a review or just both. I don't know. I might do both. Fuck it. Okay, and now for the moment of truth. Okay, now how do I do this? And bam, there it is. Woo! Okay, minus like how weird the thigh looks like right out of the box because I didn't adjust it. Look at the fucking colors. Like, wow. The color scheme on this is amazing. Like, if I could just swap the hair, I think it'd be perfect because I kind of prefer the other hair color. And dark skin with blonde is a little overdone. Like, it's, you know, makes sense because that's like the gyaru type skin and hair color like combination, but man, look at that. Man, I really wish they had a version of this figure that didn't have the thigh highs, because I basically just want it to be almost naked. Well, it's pretty much almost naked. God damn. Yeah, that's definitely a figure. Alright, now that it's properly out of the box, let's actually take a look at it. So just for the sake of comparison, here is the original Succubus Lisbeth. If I can get her to stick. Here's the original Succubus Lisbeth, and you can see body shape and everything are identical. Pretty much the same figure, just completely different repaint. But I think because of the white colors and everything, it makes certain things look a bit more obvious. Like here, you can see the seam, like for the socks. But the thing is that I still don't know if that's intentional. To me, it looks like it's intentional, but it also just looks like seam lines. To me, it looks like seam lines. Like here, you can kind of get away with it because of the dark colors, so it's not as obvious. But here, it's like, man, it's just staring you right in the face. Like, ugh. It's like the gaps didn't get closed enough or something. And of course you can see the really ugly ab crunch. I still don't know why they did an ab crunch. I guess because of her body shape, maybe they couldn't do it properly. But yeah, look at that. And of course, they still have like the weird segmented forearms because they have to make it look like the model kit, but not in a good way. Where you see really obvious gaps, and I still don't know why they made it like that. It's really strange. And then of course you can see it right there on the forearms. I don't like that. Yeah, so it still has some of the same aesthetic problems that the original has, but it's still really good. And also you can see that the shading is completely different, obviously because the skin tone is different. Like you can see like bits of like darker colors on her skin tone. You can see like a little bit of like reddish right there, like on the belly button. Not so much, a little bit of pink. Like she has more pink shading, but it's very subtle. Like you can see pink shading right here, like on the chesticles, like in between the chest. So just a little bit there, but then on her, she doesn't seem to have it, which looks a little strange. So you can kind of see how obvious like the conjoined boobs are, like with the skin. You see that? Like I feel like there should be like a dark or a light color there to kind of indicate that there's shading. But they put shading around the boobs. Like, you see that, right? Like on the upper part of the boob, it's like a slightly darker color. And then at the top, like near the more rounded part, it's like lighter. And I don't know if it's just me, like my eyes, but I swear I can see like hints of her areola. Is that how you fucking pronounce it? I don't know. It's either like you can see like slightly different shading on the boob being squeezed, or you can just, or I'm just imagining it. I don't know. You can see that like there's some gapping right there. I'm not sure what that black part is in between the boobage. You see that? What is that? It's still painted really well, but you can see that there's some problems. But only if you look like you're just fucking up close. Like here you don't really notice it, but I can't tell if that's just like a gap or that's something else. And then here, like the underwear thing is painted really well. Same here. The gloves and everything are fine. Let's take a look at the faces before I actually do the height. I'm doing this before the height measurement, but it doesn't really matter. I'll just swap the order. Hold on. And then for the face, Asanagi's trademark like style, you can see it. I really like the face and the eyes, like I said in the original video, but I don't know, the yellow eyelashes kind of make it hard to see the details, and it kind of makes it look like she doesn't have eyelashes, which is weird. I feel like they could have added some red shading, I think, to her cheekbones, or maybe like lipstick or something, like to kind of distinguish it, because you can see like the shading near the mouth, like near the gums or whatever the fuck, near the teeth. It's really subtle, but not as noticeable as this one. Like, look at this one. You can see the clear distinction between the eyebrows, the eyelashes. Well, the eyebrows are kind of hard to see, but you can see the eyelashes very clearly, and you can see like the thing for the mouth. The only thing she's missing is like blush, like on her cheeks, but yeah. Okay, and then and just like hints of, and like I said, just hints of shading, like dark and lighter shading, like on her body. As for the finish, like she already looked kind of shiny, but her skin is pale, so it kind of worked. So she, I guess, like looked a little oily, but like here, I think they did a pretty good job. But I think she could have used a hint of red or a hint of orange, maybe, to really bring it to life. Because if you look at someone who has like a spray tan or something like that, you can tell that like there's a very strong orange hue. Like if you look at the Sosai Shoujo model kit, like the tan version of that one girl, it's very orangey. So that's what I was assuming. But I guess they just made a straight up dark skin version of her and not like a quote unquote tan, even though that's what it says on the box. But and then the other thing, real quick, let's look at the hair. The hair they did pretty well. You can see like the shading is done differently on the hair. So they put the shading like towards like the bottom of the strands, and you can see like right here, like bits of the root, like right there a little bit, and then a lot more shading like throughout the back. It's hard to see, but you can see that there's like a lot of subtle shading right here on the ends of the hair. Like a lot of bits of orange and everything, which looks really cool. And even the horns are painted pretty much the same way. It's like this very soft looking sculpt you can see. Look at that. Hold on, let me just show you real quick. The horns are pretty much the same. Not much of a huge difference there. And even the crown is done exactly the same. But yeah, side by side, they're essentially the same figure, like I said. It's just a completely different color scheme. So it depends on which one you really want, but like I said, you can't get this pale one anymore unless they announce the fucking reissue that I don't know about. So if you're gonna get one of these, get this. Don't get this. Don't try and track down this one unless you just really want this one. You're better off getting the new one because it's easier to find, and you'll have a way easier chance of getting it, and you can probably get it for way less money. Like for retail price, not whatever the fuck this one is going for now. Like 300 plus? Don't even bother. Just get the new one. Okay, so yeah, aesthetic is pretty much on par with the original. Maybe the original is slightly better, but I don't know. I still want to give this one a, I want to say objectively 8.5, because it still has like the segmented look, and even like now with the arms, you can see that the arms have weird gaps in between, which is weird because I guess they fucked up somewhere in the manufacturing. Look at that, like what is that? What's going on there? That's like if I didn't cut the model kit pieces properly. Like what's going on? Not there, but like damn, there's nubs there. I'm not gonna try and cut that. Of course, you can see the seams like all over the arms, and then they have crunch, and there's not enough shading in certain areas like to really bring it to life. But the color is there. Like the base color is still there. So, and I do like the silver on the legs. Like the silver is really cool, and it has a nice sheen to it, and it bounces off the light really well. And of course, all the like skin indentation details and everything. Like you can see the leg being squeezed right here. So everything I said about this one can apply to this one. But since this is a recolor, I kind of have to treat it a little bit differently. So I'll still give it 8.5. I still prefer this color scheme, but I kind of think the shading on the original was done a little bit better. But I think overall the skin tone looks better because, I don't know, the shadows and everything look better on it. Like, look at how it bounces off. Look how it absorbs all that light compared to this one. See, like, I have some lights on right now, and then look, it's just blinding, like, with the light. But here you can see like the light is a little bit more subtle. Like she's just kind of taking it all in. If I turn off the lights, see, like, I don't know. This one just looked better to me. And that could just be my bias because I wanted the darker skin, but yeah, I think they both look good, but the one on the left, it looks a little bit better. So I don't remember if I gave it a 9 in the original one, but if someone can correct me. So I'll say either 8.5 to 9 depending on which one feels right, but objectively I'll say 8.5 and then 9 for like subjectivity, because that's how I feel. Also real quick, some other differences I need to point out. The shoes are done differently. See, like the bottom of the shoe is black, and then this part is white, whereas on the original, I didn't even realize they were like two separate things. Whereas in the original, the heels are still black, and then the socks are white, but I didn't even realize those are two different things. And of course, something funny is that the wings are the same color. I think they could have made the wings a different color, but they're pretty much the same. And I don't know if it's just me. I don't know, I might be seeing shit. Might be delusional, but these wings look shinier than these wings. Like these have a slightly less like shiny finish to them, but I can't tell. I swear they look almost exactly the same. They might have put a little bit less shine on these, but I can't tell. I'm probably going insane. Okay, and then for a quick comparison, here she is. Here's Lisbeth next to the zombie girl Grissa from Snail Shell. They're almost the same height, but Grissa's a little bit taller, which is funny because she's shorter than the other Snail Shell figures. But she's a rival for the same amount of thickness. The only thing is that I think Lisbeth wins in the leg department. I don't know if I properly compared these earlier with the previous one, but yeah, you can see like pretty much similar level of thickness. Boobage might still go to Lisbeth, so she might still have the biggest ones out of all the figures I have, not counting differences in scale. And then of course here's the Revoltech Miracle, and she's still not beating the midget allegations. Look at that. Also, you can see the differences in the skin tone. This skin tone for Lisbeth is kind of what I wanted the Mirko to have, but like, it's still fine, but I still think it should be darker and a little bit more orange, but they kind of like made her pale for like tan skin standards, but whatever. Yeah, so there you go. This is how they look, and I'll show you some other comparisons with other figures I have, and I don't know, this video might get a little too hot for YouTube. Okay, so the height is pretty much the exact same as the original, but I'll measure it anyway, which means she's like over 5.5 inches, but you know, lower than 6 inches, so it's like what, 5 1/7, 5 1/8 maybe? Pretty much the same. And let me show you the original. Here you go. Pretty much the same exact height. So she's kind of tall for a figure, despite the fact that she's supposed to be short. Like, the character's supposed to be short, but hey, I think it's pretty cool. I like when the females are a little bit taller. Okay, so the articulation is essentially the same, because again, this is just a repaint, so I'll try and go over it a little bit quicker this time, and not take too much time. So the head can move back, but if you can adjust the hair like slightly without going too far, that's about as far as it goes back. I still don't like that weird neck, because it has like a really weird flat neck, but let's see. So the head can, with the hinge, can go pretty far back. Like that's, should definitely look up. For whatever weird poses you want to do with her, yeah, you'll get her look up. You can also make her look like she's flying. So there you go. And then looking down, even with the hair kind of getting in the way, you get her to look down really well. Look at that. And then you can, you know what's funny? Even though it's just like a ball peg that it's a ball peg that connects to the neck right here, it's still really well done, and it doesn't look like she broke her neck like the way it does on Figma, because I think it's not offset like the way Figma does it. So it doesn't look like broken. It still looks like the head is being tilted. Like, yeah, you could argue. Kind of looks like she dislocated her neck, but no. Unfortunately, no sideways movement for the neck because of the fact that it's just a straight hinge, but that's fine. You can still do that. You can rotate the head. Pretty much the same as the original. If you wanted to, you could probably spin it all the way around, but we're not going to do that. Okay, shoulders. The shoulders were was the coolest part about the original figure, because it had like this completely unique system here, where this connects to a straight peg, and then it has this extra hinge here, and then like the bicep swivel and the forearm and everything. So let's see. So arms. Also, this is what I keep saying about like arms and shoulders. You can get more range if you just create the space for it. You see that? This looks like it can hinge all the way, if I remember correctly. Let's look at it. Yeah, look at that. Pretty much goes almost all the way up. And then, there you go. Let's try get more. Look at that. That's amazing range. Look at that. And it's not really that ugly. Like, yeah, this looks weird, but you can just kind of pretend it's like her armpit. Like, this figure actually has armpit. Like, if the fucking Revoltech figures did this, I probably wouldn't hate their ugly shoulders so much, but I guess they would lose out on some of the range, but whatever. Sometimes form over function is better. Okay, and then real quick, shoulders, you know, create that hinge, and then because of the unique peg system they have here, which I think they're trying to patent, I don't know, you can bring the arm across the chest extremely well. I'd say this is the only part that looks weird. I'd say maybe this is the only part that looks weird, like when you have it like go across the chest, but it could be like the way your arm moves, like when you move it across like with your shoulder like that, but I'm not sure. And then of course, because of the fact that it's already like crossed like over halfway, when you bend the arm, not even like more than 90 degrees. You can already put her hand on her shoulder. And of course, you combine it with the bicep swivel. You can just look at that. Like, look at how good that movement is. Of course, look at that. This is why I always advocate for good shoulder movement. Like, look at this. Like, you'll be able to get some really good poses like this. Like, you can get her like stretching or doing whatever. Like, this is so good. Just like in the original one. I wouldn't mind if Snail Shell, not Snail Shell. Well, yeah, Snail Shell should probably copy this or something. I wouldn't mind if Second Axe incorporates this to the like newer figures, like after this one, because I think she's the most recent. And then they didn't make any more. And I'm concerned they might not make more, but hopefully this one sells well. Okay, yeah, obviously bicep swivel. There you go. It does what it needs to do. It's a bicep swivel. Not really much to say there. Single jointed elbow gives you ridiculously good range, like I mentioned in the original video. Look at that. It's so nice. Like, you don't need to do double joints, but like if you can do a single joint really well, like this, it's fine. The only problem is that it looks weird, like in neutral, because you can very much just see the obvious like joint, but if it functions well, I don't see the problem. See? Like, that's great. That's, I think, slightly better than the Megami device, which also use single jointed elbows. And then the wrists are standard. This is a floating piece. This is a floating piece. Wrists are standard, but you still get really good range. Look at that. Not as much going up, but going down seems to be a lot. I think it just depends on where the connection is, like in the hand itself. But look at that. Almost 90 degrees on that hand. And not as much going up. Still close, but it's really good though. Okay. And now for the torso. Well, I know you guys are here for this part. Okay, I need to move the hair back again. Okay, so just the upper part of the torso, it can lean back extremely well, even though it has gapping. But you can see that. Look at that crazy. Like she fucking blew her back out. I still think this is an awesome like system because it's basically a ball peg connected to a hinge. So you still get like the ball peg range, but you also get the hinge, so you get a little bit more forward and back. Because look, sideways range, pretty good. Pretty sure I mentioned that before, but like pretty good sideways range. And then of course you can just rotate it as much as you won't have the boobs jiggle like everywhere, I guess. And then of course the ab crunch, like the crunch on the upper part, not bad, but I'm pretty sure these are getting in the way. If the boobs weren't in the way, I think you could get more range out of it. Like I think it's actually like being hindered by the chest. Not just trying to say that as a joke. And then going back with both joints, I don't think this one goes backwards. I think the ab crunch only goes forward. Yeah, so that's about as far. Yeah, so that's as far back as you'll go, which kind of sucks, but okay. And then of course, because it's an ab crunch, you don't get ball peg range, so no sideways or anything like the other Taimanin figures or the other hentai action ones. But you get an ab crunch by itself. The ab crunch is pretty good, and then combine it with the chests. You have to keep in mind the fact that the boobs get in the way, but that is a really good ab crunch. Like, I wish it didn't have an ab crunch. Like, you don't need an ab crunch, but and also you can just see how segmented it is. Like, look at how weird it looks in the back. Like, this is to connect like the figure stand, and then like these are just like plates, like all the separate pieces and everything. It just looks a little strange. And of course, like these little things right here, because of the ab crunch, they had to cut it out. Like, they could have done that better, but look at that range. That's great range. So you can really get her to do some subtle poses that you need. You can make her look like she's doing sit-ups or something, I don't know. Or whatever the hell you're thinking about right now. Okay, so there you go. Really great torso range, even with the fact that it's stuck with an ab crunch, but Yeah, the proportions and articulation are pretty much the same as the original, which are all excellent, but let's take a look real quick at the leg range so we can wrap this up and then go to accessories. So I believe it uses, if I remember right, it uses the same like kind of weird L shape, like double ball peg, one that connects inside here and then goes out. So it has its pluses and minuses, but I feel like the pluses outweigh it. See, like, the leg has a lot of freedom to move around, and you can swing out the legs to give it more range. Like here, you can see it right here. It's like this curved ball peg. You see that? Look at that. It's really weird, but it worked, which is interesting. Like, I think they're the only ones using that besides maybe Snail Shell. Snail Shell does it in a similar way, but I feel like it's not as good because they don't finesse the torso, the waist area to give the range they need. Okay, so real quick, you can kick out the legs just about 90 degrees. If you don't want this weird gap right here, you can just push the leg back. You can, like I said, you can finesse it and then still get that 90-degree kick. And it won't really rub the paint on it, so there you go. Really good range there. And of course the knees. You have to give Second Axe credit, like they have amazing knees. Look at this, this is Megami Device knee range. The Megami Device still has the best knees, like, because it's perfect, but given the character design and the fact that she has really thick upper legs, look at that. Perfect knee range. Like, same thing as the original. That's why I really love the Snail Shell. Well, Snail Shell also has the same like knee range, but Snail Shell and Second Axe, like, look at this. Why can't companies like Bandai get good knee range? Like, that's what I keep saying. And it looks good, too. Look at that curve. Like the way a knee actually would bend. And they took into account, like, the cut right here that they made, like, the curve, so that the knee can actually bend properly. Look at that, that's great. You don't have, like, that weird, like, the way they do it for Marvel Legends and other ones. Like, ugh. Okay, and then for the ankles, you can tell it's like the model kits where it's like just straight, so it's like a connection here, and then so going back, not so much. Going forward, a hell of a lot. You can make it look like she broke her foot. Toe hinge, nice toe hinge, and then this is the weird part. I mentioned this in the original, but this is still weird. So I think the connection for the heel is here. Like this part, like the actual shoe that connects like to the heel, and then this part just rotates. Look at this. I still think this is weird. Just ignore all the noise in the background. I still think this is weird, but hey, if it works, it works. But you see, it swings around like the heel there. I've never seen it done like that besides like this figure and, you know, obviously the original, but that's interesting. Okay, and then real quick, thigh swivel. The upper thigh, since it is on a ball peg, technically, can rotate a little. So you can get a little bit more out of it. And if you want the butt to look proper, like it's connected properly or whatever, you can just, you know, subtly turn the upper thigh so you can get that shape, which is something you can't do with the Snail Shell Grissa, zombie girl Grissa, because they didn't want you to tuck in the legs so that you can make the shape look better. So at least for this one, like, look at that, it almost looks seamless. You can make the butt look like it's really connected. And that, what the fuck is that noise? But yeah, look at that. That looks really good. I'm gonna just work with the noise, I don't care. Okay, and then real quick, the last thing for articulation, sideways range. If I remember right, it's not the best, but it's still like good enough. Because you can use the ball peg joint to kind of get more range, but not a lot. Oh, is it worse now? I don't know. What is that, 45 degrees? Yeah, not the best range, but you can still get like a decent kick out of it, and I'm pretty sure this is the same in the original. I could be wrong, but let me see. No, it was slightly more, so I'm not sure what I did wrong. Let me see. How do I get more? Did they change it? Or am I just not doing that well enough? Oh, okay. I wasn't doing as much as I should have. Okay, never mind. You get way more now. So that looks really good. Look at that. God, what the fuck is that noise? Look at that. You can still get like a good kick out of it, so this is still better than most Dragon Ball figures. Even though like those should be better engineered, but yeah, there you go. So Articulation still gets like a solid, I want to say 8.5, because if they had this whole thing figured out with the ball peg, with the waist, and if they just gave you a ball peg neck instead of a hinge neck, even though the range is great, but it reminds me of the Marvel Legends hinges, but it's still really good. So she still gets a solid, I think 8.5 or whatever it was for the original. Still the same, no loose knees. Like let's test the knees real quick. No loose knees. Look at the lab. No loose knees. Usually these things have loose knees. Oh, her fair came off. No loose joints. Look at that. That's great. Yeah, and in addition to the upper thigh being able to rotate, obviously, like the way a Mayfix or something else would. Yeah, see, you can create the gaps if you want. And then the other thing is that, you know, the regular thigh swivel right here. And you can even take these legs out to swap it for the other thing that we're going to talk about in the accessories, but not yet. Okay, so just like the original, the Succubus Lisbeth comes with pretty much the exact same accessories. So you get the smug looking off to the side face, the slightly like orgasmy kind of face, and then like one where she just looked like she's completely done. Like I think you've turned her into a fucking cum bucket or something. And then she comes with the bendy wire succubus tail, which is still pretty cool, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use it right now. And then it comes with 3 pairs of hands, which is honestly still not enough, but you get 2 fist type hands, 2 peace sign hands, and then 2 like open palm, like grippy sort of hands, but no like actual like grabbing hands to hold on to something. You think they'd want her to hold something, but she comes with the Second Axe figure stand base, which is huge. I don't know why it's huge. And then the really cool figure stand arm that they have, which has like 4 different points of articulation, like 4 or 5. And then of course the almighty no parts, and we'll take a look at those real quick. Okay, so real quick, just to show you, to take the faces out, you just go like this, like in the original. Just pull this out. Thankfully the horns are part of this part of the hair, not the top, not the back of the head, but originally when I first tried to take this out of the box, this thing had a huge ass gorilla grip. But if you pull out Game of Strong, you can get her out. There you go. Let me put this face, and then you just line it up right here. It's like, it looks like this, by the way. Then you just line it up like this. Again, it's the same as the original, and then you just make sure these parts, you see this? You get those to connect. Then you just go press it down a little bit. And there you go. My only thing is that the decals are really shiny on these eyes, so it kind of makes it annoying when the light bounces off it. But it's still really good. And then for the hands, real quick, just pop them out like normal, like you would any other figure. Okay, and I'll just put the peace sign hands because we already know what she's doing. Okay, gotta try and line it up properly. There we go. I know this is just a recolor, but it's still worth demonstrating this in case maybe you didn't see the original. I always try to show off how to use the accessories. I think it's always worth demonstrating it in case someone makes a user error, or if you're me and you're stupid. There we go. Oh yeah, she just looks like look at her face. Look at this shit. What's going on here, lady? Yeah, so there you go. And then for the tail, I'll just use the other one. I still have the other tail. Alright, so real quick, let me just show you the difference between the two tails. So here's the one that I've used on the original, which has already been twisted around and moved. And then of course here is the new one, which hasn't been used at all, so it's completely straight. But look at the difference. Like, this is the tail completely like straight, or as straight as it can be. And then here's how much you can twist it around, which I think is pretty cool. And now you have to pick it into her butt. So let me see if I can do that properly this time. I don't know if I did it right the first time. See, it's literally like a bendy wire. I don't know if you can see that, but it's literally a bendy wire. Okay. Hopefully I don't have to re-record some of this because of all the noise that happened. We'll see. Oh wow, that was easy. And there you go. Look at that. Now she has the tail on. That's pretty cool. I like that it's pretty much like easy to use. Look at that. I might just like swap the tails like back and forth, I'm not sure, but there you go. And then we'll do the stand base later because we need to talk about the most important part. Actually, no, we'll do the stand base first. Despite the fact that I just fucking got this thing, it already has smudges. I don't like how it's like piano, like plastic, like piano looking, like gloss, like the fucking PS3. It's like PS3 shininess, so that means it's a fucking dirt magnet. And where is that stand arm? Okay, so I'm gonna suffer demonstrating stand bases for the rest of my life, but here you go. It connects like this. It goes in pretty smoothly, that's what she said. You can bend it like that, like I've showed before, which is pretty cool. I actually like this one more, I think, out of all the other ones. I just wish it was clear. And then just about 90 degrees on the later joints, but that's still pretty good. And you can pretty much just do this. Hold on. You can go like this. Like, there's so much like variety in the movement. Look at that. That's pretty cool. There you go, and now she's floating in the air like an idiot. Even though, well, she's a succubus, she could probably fly, but... Oh. Yeah, I don't know why that's not fitting in properly, but... Oh. Okay, I think I got it to work. So it's a little bit more secure, you just have to really wedge it in there. And then of course we're gonna look at the final accessory, which is the one that everyone wants to see because obviously I showed it off in the previous one. So here it is in the black baggy, the no-no parts as I always call it, because I think it's funnier to call it that. Alright, well, here you go guys. Hold on. Just look at that, dude. Look at the artistry here. Body shape and everything's the same as the original, but the colors really bring it to life. They're just like bits of red, bits of dark colors in there. I do wish the nipples were like a different color. I guess because she's like tan and not actually like dark skinned, but whatever. I feel like it would work better if the nipples were darker, like a really darker color, but whatever. And then obviously you swap out the legs here. She has her vagina completely fucking closed. Hopefully YouTube doesn't fucking nuke my channel out of existence for showing this figure. It's not a real person. No butthole, which is funny. It's still funny. But she does have 3 holes in the back. You know, 4 holes, sorry. Girls have 4 holes, right? Is that how many they have? Then the upper body, you can really see like the details, like on the shoulder blades on the back, and then like the way the boobs like slide down. And also you can see the difference between. You can see the difference here between. Oh, sorry. You can see the difference here, obviously, between the shape of the boobs. You see how it's like more squeezed on the left, and then here it's, you know, just hanging out. Just, I think this is the part where they could have added articulated boobs, but then it would have messed with the aesthetic. So I understand. Okay, so now to connect all that shit together. So first you take the legs out. Then if you want, you can do this in any order, but then you take the head off. And then this is how you take off the arms, because this might be the hard part for some people. Not the part that's in your pants, but... So remember, it's a straight peg at an angle. You see this angle? This is how it goes. So you have to wiggle it out like this. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, it's not sliding out. What the fuck? There we go. You just have to like grip it. Okay, so you see that? That's how it connects. I'll leave the tail and everything on. I don't feel like changing it. So you have to connect it like this. Line it up with this hole right here. There you go. That's easy. And then for this one, you do the same thing. Because you essentially get 2 bodies. Like, it's just that you have to put the arms and legs and the head on one of them. You can't put them on both. Because then they're basically just selling you 2 figures. I think it's interesting that the connector is actually a different color. I don't know if that's the same in the original. I'm gonna have to look at it later. But you just connect that there. Like, this is the stuff I'm saying that's like a model kit where you just assemble certain parts of it. Okay, then you put the head back on. Nope, that's not how you do that. Okay, it was ridiculously hard to connect the head to the neck socket for the head fucking ball joint for no reason. It wasn't like that in the old one, but, and in the base body. Like, also, something I want to point out, the neck on this, the neck hinge, way tighter than this one. This one is really loose. I don't like that, but that's really loose. I hate that. It made it hard to put the head on, but whatever. I don't know how often I'll be swapping that out. Okay, then just put the hair back on. And there you go, you get this beautiful thing. So now you get a sexy, bodacious, dark-skinned elf. So there you go. You can also swap the hair with the original. I'll post a picture of it because taking off that head is going to be annoying, so it's really cool that you can swap it, because in the promo images it showed that you could swap the hair pieces, but pretty much this has the exact same like build quality, great range of motion, same balancing and everything, same accessories. So I still want to give it like 8.5 for accessories, because yes, the giant naked body, like the naked body, like should definitely bump it up to a 10 out of 10. But for the fact, like, but the fact that it costs over 120 or 130 bucks, and then on the aftermarket it's going to be like 300. The fact that it only comes with 3 faces, one of which isn't even looking straight, which is the normal face, and then it comes with like 3 pairs of hands and not much else, like no throne or anything, you know, because she's a succubus queen. That's kind of it. So whatever the score I gave for the original, maybe like 8.5 or something, like it's still pretty good. Like overall this figure is amazing, but you know, be careful with the prices on this thing. If you really want to get it now. Like, really try and track this down, because I had this pre-ordered on Native's website, like, the day it got announced, like, for pre-order, the day the pre-order went up, and I got it. And then I ordered another one on AmiAmi, so I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that. I don't think I'm going to be doing a giveaway for this. I'll announce a giveaway later, because I still need to celebrate 1,000 subscribers, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I highly recommend you just get this one. If you don't want to get the original, just get this one instead. And you'll be saving yourself a lot more money, trust me. So yeah, this is just a quick review because of the recolor. If you want the full details of this figure, watch the original video, even though it looks completely different, but that's pretty much it. See ya.